So today is September 3rd, Labor Day weekend, and the other day I got the Aquadrive unit in, and today we finished installing the engine. Yeah, we got it all bolted down and everything bolted in place, and it looks pretty good. There's the Aquadrive going to the transmission. Just a little bit of an angle coming here, and I knew that there was about 2 degrees. The engine was 2 degrees more level than what the shaft coming up here was. I compensated for that a little bit here in the engine mounts. I raised the front mounts just a little bit to bring it down and get things, in alignment here. But yeah, that's the thing about the Aquadrive is you can run them at, 8 degrees up to 12 degrees. Yeah, and so we're, and that's in any direction. So yeah, we should be good to go. Providing this here is in alignment with the shaft, which I'll need to check that, of course, at some point when I get the shaft. But if it's not, we can do some shimming here if we have to. Hopefully it's all right, but it looks pretty good. Got the engine mount bolts in, and got all these bolts in, and I used blue Loctite. Well, actually they supplied it with the Aquadrive, a little tube of blue Loctite. So I used those on these couplers here, where it couples to the actual thrust bearing, and then in this CV joint couples to the transmission adapter. And then I did put a little bit on these bolts here where the transmission output shaft goes to this coupler. It does have lock nuts, but I went ahead and put a little bit of Loctite on there anyway. And then we'll see what happens here when I get my drive shaft, my prop shaft. It'll have to have a fitting machine for that, and that'll fit this bolt pattern down here. But yeah, it all looks good. Yeah, pretty happy with the way it all came out. It looks to me like it's going to be way robust enough. I can't anticipate any problems here whatsoever. I wasn't sure if I would have enough clearance in here. I thought I would, and I did. There's about 1 inch there. I mean, I could notch that out a little more if I had to, but if I don't have to, there's no need to notch it out. I need to make a tray to fit underneath of here to catch any oil leaks or drips or fluid, transmission, whatever, any drips or leaks from the engine or transmission. We'll put a little catch tray under there. Not sure what I'll do. Probably go ahead and make that out of some thin plywood and then glass it up. Yeah, that should be fine. Speaking of drips, it looked like I just saw a couple drips, something over here. See what that was. Yeah, oh. Somebody spilled some Loctite here. Must have been my helper earlier today. John was over and helped do this. Yeah, it was a bit of a job to try to do by myself. Not that I couldn't have done it, but boy, it sure helped to have an extra set of hands to, to tweak and push and pull and get things in position. Yeah. So that's a nice job to have done. And now I can carry on with build stringers, and there's really nothing stopping me from working on the build stringers now, because with that installed, and that was going to be a lot easier to install now as opposed to after the build stringers were in. So yeah, that's a good deal. It kind of slowed me down a bit, of course, but yeah. Ooh, took you for a little ride there, didn't I? But yeah, there we are, all set up. And you can see what wonderful access I'm going to have to the engine. You know, everything is going to be accessible. Because I think the sole in here in the engine room is going to be right where my feet are now. And probably just follow that back more or less. Don't know if I'll try to make it level or leave it sloped like the engine beds are, but irregardless, it's yeah, it's going to make engine access really easy. And I've got standing headroom up here. One thing I did do though is I had to take my transducers out, my tank level indicators that I had put in here. Yeah, they weren't going to work. Too many baffles in the tanks. It didn't have room for the arm to. The arm had to bend, and yeah, there was just no way I could get them in there and make them work. So what I'm thinking now, what I might do, is get a couple more of those level indicators that aren't quite, you know, that don't go all the way down here. You know, they can go just down to here or so, give them enough room to, because there's a bend in the angle, so they have to be able to, you know, bend up and have clearance to bend half their length, which at 54 inches, that was too much. I didn't have that 27 inches or whatever in between baffles, either direction. But if I went with the shorter sending unit, it wouldn't read all the way down to the bottom, but there isn't just a whole lot of fuel down there anyway, because I don't know if you can see this, but you know, they slope up, and so actually this bottom 10 inches or whatever would never even be, you know, hold a significant amount of fuel. And it'd give you a little reserve, maybe 50 or 60 gallons of reserve when the gauge was reading empty. But yeah, so I don't know, I have to decide, unless I decide to go with a different transducer of some sort. I don't know. You know, I looked at the digital stuff, and I don't know. Yeah, in some ways I like to keep things as simple as possible. And I guess I could just go with the sounding stick, but that would be the simplest of all, and that's always a backup. But I don't know, it sounds like a lot of people aren't real thrilled with those digital transducers that sense the liquid level. I don't know what it is, if they use light or sound or what they use, but they actually sense how far below the top of the tank the liquid level is. But yeah, maybe, we'll see. But anyway, the engine is in. It's all bolted in permanently. So hopefully we don't run into any situations where that ever needs to come out in the near future. But let me get you back here so you can kind of see what we got going from above. Yeah. Yeah, looks good, doesn't it? Yep, happy with that. Glad to have that done. Anyway, that's all I got done, but I thought it was a significant milestone, so I would let you know about it.